Good morning, traders. Today is Tuesday, November 23rd. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. Okay, well, yesterday was a hell of a day. Quite crazy, quite unusual for the market. We had a massive push higher and then a massive sell-off, and then we pulled back up into range and we rotated for a while, and then at the end of the day, we had an insane spike down, almost all the way to the opposite end of balance. So basically breaking back into the previous balancing area, that increased the odds that we were going to rotate to the opposite end of balance. So that's not that unusual to see. But what's a little bit crazy about it was how quickly it happened. I mean, it just instantly, from the moment it broke back below that balance area high, it went straight down all the way to almost, like I said, the opposite end. Just missed it by, $5. So that's kind of crazy that it moved that quickly, but not unexpected in that it would have made that move. Okay, so the overnight basically just rotated lower. So they completely dipped below the balancing area low and have pulled back above. So that is a look below and fail within the overnight range, and it is possible that that could be the look below and fail that we needed to turn around and rotate back up. However, sorry, let me just get that drawing tool so I can point that out. So that could have been the look below and fail we needed to now pull back up and head back up to the opposite end of balance. But spike rules are also in play, right? Yesterday's spike is this area here. And spike rules tell us if we open below the spike, which if we open right this minute, we'll have a small gap down. That is extremely bearish, as that is a signal that the momentum is now to the downside and that the sellers are in control of the market. So opening with this gap down that we're about to open is very bearish. As always, we will look for a counter auction to the overnight inventory, which is only slightly short here. But we will look for the market to start trading higher and then see, does it fill that gap, right? Does it fill back to yesterday's low at 46.78? If it gets to yesterday's low and it finds resistance around there, that is very bearish for continuation lower, as is if it doesn't fill the gap at all. Okay, so the market is open. Came within a tick or two of filling that gap. So that's the first thing we watched this morning. We know the spike rules tell us that this is bearish, and we know that if we get resistance here, doesn't have to be exactly yesterday's low, but in this general area, and start to trade lower, that is extremely bearish. So I would say if the market pulls back down and starts to pass below this A period low, it's probably a good short. But if we can get back up into yesterday's range, pull down and find some support in here, that will be good for continuation higher. I don't know that I would jump into a long trade just yet. And if I did, it'd be just very short, maybe to get to the overnight high, and then I'd look for resistance there. But there is one thing, man, I should have started streaming sooner this morning. There is one thing I wanted to mention that is just worth keeping in mind. I talked about this on the private stream yesterday. That this market does have a history in the recent past of getting a major move higher, getting a lot of excess, creating a balancing area, poking above that balancing area, and then when it fails and pulls back in, it causes a massive sell-off, that causes a much larger pullback in the market. But it doesn't have to happen right that first day. You can see here it started to pull in, got to the opposite end, and only the next day did you get that major sell-off. Here's another example of it here. Excess up, balancing area. They successfully broke out of balance, but when that momentum ended and they pulled back down into the balancing area, boom, caused a massive sell-off. Okay. And then this one was kind of a tricky one because there was two balancing areas on top of each other. And the failure to break out of the second one caused us to pull down into the previous, which caused another balancing area, and then breaking that caused the massive pullback. So I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but that does look eerily similar to what the market has just set itself up for. Getting that excess up, creating that balancing area, looking above it, instantly rotating to the opposite end. Now, maybe it's just a larger balancing area. Maybe actually this low right here is the real balance area low. And so we just need to head down and test that. Could be the case. But I just wouldn't think it's impossible to get another one of these right here. It also looks like the overnight perfectly bounced off that 20 moving average on the daily, which is good to see. It's where the swing traders start to step in. Okay. Oh man, passing back below that low. That is bearish. So this is considered a gap and go. It's not a super bearish gap and go because we got to spend a little bit of time back in yesterday's range. But you combine that bearishness with the spike rules, and we opening below yesterday's spike is the most bearish scenario. And you've got some bearishness here in this market right away. Next thing we're looking for is a look below and fail of the balance area low. So once it is literally as we speak starting to push below. Once it gets below there, does it pull back up? If we get that, we could head all the way up to the opposite end of balance. But if we push below and continue, I think we've got to head a little lower here. First target being the base of those single prints at 46.58.75. So let's see how this balance area low holds up here. If you haven't yet, please smash that like button. Let's get that YouTube algorithm going. Okay, so the question is this balance area low acting as support here? Are buyers stepping in? We're starting to see a little bit of recovery on the ticks. So this would technically count as a look below and fail of the balance area, but obviously it's way too early to make that call. But just to help you guys understand how this works. Nope, sellers piling on. They want to push it. Mediterra thinking we open below 79.50 is bearish. Sure looks like it. Got the gap down, got the gap and go, got the most bearish scenario from the spike rules. The only thing to hold us up right here is this balance area low. If that starts to fail, like I said, the first target to the downside, The base of the D period single prints from the 12th at 46.58.75. And it looks like that's where we're going. Bears. Bears. I believe this is the very poor low that I forget who it was, but somebody in the chat was joking that poor lows are a sign of strength and you should buy them. So that was like, what, a week ago? And we're already back to it. This, of course, is another poor low now that we stopped to a tick right at that previous poor low. So it's a sign it's the short-term traders buying there. So we expect to get a push away. But at some time, the market is likely to come back down and repair that low. Should find some resistance at yesterday's low. If we do not, if we can just push right back through to the upside, which doesn't feel like that's what's going to happen, but if it does, that would be the look below and fail of the balancing area, which would be very bullish. But I don't think that's what's going to happen here. I think we're about to find some resistance. Weak hands buyers down here. They're going to be taking profits up in here. All right, well, they were able to push the ticks back above the zero line, so there are more buyers than sellers right now. Can they hold it? Or will the resistance set in and it starts to pull back below the zero line? Man, these markets the last 3 days have moved so quickly. It's like everyone on earth just changes their opinion instantaneously. It's crazy. All right, well, they're not getting any resistance yet at yesterday's low. That is truly insane. Again, if this was a look below and fail of the balancing area, the target is the opposite end. I'm in shock and awe that that's what could happen here. But I didn't expect it to work that quickly last night, getting to the opposite end. So it may work very quickly this morning, getting to the opposite end. I cannot believe it. All right, guys. I'm actually really bullish on this, more so than neutral. Because now we're going to head back to the opposite end. I cannot believe it. That just happened. All right, so the next resistance to the upside is the overnight high. We'll see what happens when we get up to there. And then, of course, the base of the spike down from yesterday could be resistance. Fausto, too soon to be bullish? Yeah, I mean, I'm not bullish, but I just, seeing the market get back into yesterday's range after having so many bearish signals. Spike rules, bearish. Gap down, bearish. Like, pour low, bearish. Bearish, 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 bearish. And then I look at the ticks and there's just buyers stepping in. That to me is just breathtaking. So that makes me wean on my bearishness. But no, certainly not bullish yet. Tests take time. That's good. I like that. That's wise. Well, they spent plenty of time testing the balance area low here. They tested it all night last night and again this morning. So if this is a look below and fail, we know where the target is, the opposite end. I just can't freaking believe it. Yeah, they're pumping. Philip, good morning to you. Sanju, good morning to you. Philip, this week is historically been bullish. That's true. That December rally is no joke. Rad, good morning to you. Bob, good morning. Amir, good to see you. Nicholas, good to see you as well. Stephen, good morning. Scooball, hello. Tom, good morning to you. Two Manifs, good to see you. Danielle, hello. Diego, good morning to you. Peter, hello to you. David, good morning. David Glass. Vincent, good morning to you. Miles laughing at that poor low just like me. I can't friggin' believe it. It's like these markets function purely off of FOMO these days. It's all emotion, no logic. Just pure getting themselves overly excited, getting overly greedy, and then getting themselves overbought and instantly selling off the other direction. It's crazy. Peter says he loves the movement. Well, you're not trying to do a live stream and trade at the same time, my friend. It'd be great if all I had to do was look at the price action and only think about entering and exiting trades. All right, so like I said, potential resistance here at the overnight high. If they get through that, the next target is the base of the single prints down at 46.97. Obviously, we're getting some short covering in here with the thin volume. But we are also getting new buyers stepping in, as we can see from the ticks remaining above the zero line. I think it's safe to say at this point, support is buyable on a pullback. Kotik Pirate Traders, hey, are we up or down here? Well, at this point, we're up. Market open down here. So at this point, the market is pushing higher. It's back inside the spike. So there should be some resistance. Blew right through that overnight high. So there should be some resistance at the base of the spike up at 46.97.25. If they can get above that and come back down and find support, they're going to that previous balancing area high. Like butter, they'll cut right through it. And that is up at 47.07. JG with the GM. Good to see you. Ray, good morning to you. Trading Donkey, dips are for buying. This one surely was. I mean, the only signal that I got that would have been buyable was the look below and fail of the balancing area low. But Jesus, it happened so fast. As soon as it got back above there, it was just instantly into yesterday's range. Just like out of nowhere. You got to have your finger on that buy button ready to go. Okay, so now as we've pushed above the overnight high, it should act as support on a pullback down. So pull down to here, find some support, looking for continuation. Let's see if they're keeping those ticks up. They are trending higher above the zero line. Jesus Christ. All right, I'm bullish as long as they can keep building support here, keep those ticks going. Kotik, it looked like a liquidation break yesterday. Yeah, it started as a liquidation break, but once it got back into that previous balancing area, like literally if you were watching it in real time, it was like as soon as it got right to here, it just like a rocket ship in the last like couple of minutes of the day. It just kept going straight. It never pulled back up at all. It was just straight down. So that is more of a signal of the look above and fail of the balancing area than just a liquidation break. Yeah, let's go see what the NQ is doing this morning. Okay, the NQ didn't quite gap down. It opened inside the previous day's range. It opened inside the spike, which is a little more neutral. Found support above the overnight high, same as the ES, but at least it made a good low, good taper. And now we're testing that overnight high for resistance, which they don't appear to be getting just yet. So same as the ES, the next stop is the base of the spike down from the M period, which on the Q is 16,455. If they push through that, the next resistance will be this node of volume around the the POC. So somewhere between like 16,526 and 16,555. Back to the ES. Peter, where is the you know me guy? You mean Jonathan? He said yesterday he's going to start sleeping in. He's from Australia, so he was like, I don't know exactly what the time difference was, but he was like staying up super late at night to trade the first hour, and he decided that's not a good idea. So we'll just get him in the afternoons from now on. Thank you, Peter. You'll pick up the mantle. Uh, NQ's having trouble getting above that overnight high. Oh boy. Yes, they are. So if they start breaking below, this node right here is acting as support currently. We know that because they're keeping the ticks above the zero line. So there are more people buying than selling in here. But if this starts to break this big red node here, you're going to need a pullback. Looking for support, probably about half back, 16,351. But if not, they're just building up the momentum right now for that continuation. Put call ratios suggest this morning's pump was enough to get everyone unhinged. Let's see some fireworks. Do you mean they've loosened up the amount of options so now the market can move easier with more volatility? Is that what you mean? Well, here we go. Great timing, Donkey. So we're starting to get those ticks back below the zero line. We lost our support, so I'm back to neutral. Jesus, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't normally jump around this much. But they are fucking with us this morning. Okay, looks like they're just backfilling some of that thin volume. So we'll see support when they can get those ticks back above the zero line, both indices. Probably somewhere between half back on the ES at 46.81 and this little node of volume down here. So 46.79 to 81-ish for support. Phillips scalps are quick today. Yeah, I mean, this is great if you're a scalper. And if you're not, you should be trading like a scalper this morning. Rocket, that 30-minute session got your heart going? You and me both. Well, thank you for the update, Donkey. Terrible taper on the lows there within the 30-minute candle increases the odds. They do still need to pull back down to that half backish area to find stronger support. We really want to see the market run out of sellers rather than see the buyers just pile on and try to force it back up. But it's all about getting those ticks back above the zero line. Oh, they're doing it. M bonds are on the rise. Okay, so here's that area of potential support. Let's see if they can get those ticks above the zero and keep them there. Can they do it? Nope, not yet. Jeez Louise. uh, oh yeah, Scooball. Right back to the opening price. So in the last 37 minutes, we have done a 67 to basically 97, so an almost 20-point range, and come right back to the open. Oh, beautiful. This is not a beginner's market. I think that's the problem, Rocket. I don't think there's any real traders in this market. I think they took the week off and it's all just retail versus algorithms. And it's just pure fear and greed. Just like nothing but emotion. No logic whatsoever. Jesus Christ. All right, well, now apparently they're bearish again. Oh, man. So my advice, if you're new to trading, don't touch this. Just let them do what they're going to do. Don't let the volatility get you into trades because this is just too unpredictable. So we're heading on back down to repair that poor low. What's that? Instantaneously? Of course, instantaneously. Because everybody that just got long from the poor low up is now going to instantly exit those longs and get us right back down. Good God, man. Yeah, I mean, the only way to trade this is to get with the direction of the momentum, and then the second you're in the trade, move your stop to a tick above break even and just hope you're in the right direction. Otherwise, this is fucking danger zone. You can't use support resistance because they're just blowing right through it. Can't trust the ticks because they just keep passing up and down through the zero line. So you're flying blind if you're entering here. Claudia, Ninja Trader charts can't even keep up. I know, it's crazy. But as long as you're making money, that's all that matters. Donkey called me crazy, but I still like the long side here. Yeah, I mean, I'm all for getting into a long, on a look below and fail of the balance area low. But I just don't know how you enter. Like, where are you going to put your stop? I mean, they got all the reason in the world to come back below that balance area low and repair the poor low. And so you think, all right, Charles, well, I'll friggin' buy it when they come back down to repair the poor low. Well, then what if they start one time framing lower? We got all those bearish signals. The spike was bearish. Values values straight up lower today. We're back below the balance area low. So how do you buy around this area? How do you buy below the balance area low when the probability is further downside continuation? And how do you buy above it when you need to repair that? I just don't see an entry. Bow Bow. Are we trading on Thanksgiving? No, Thanksgiving is markets are closed, and then the day after on Black Friday, it's like a half day, and they'll be very thin volume. So I'm not even going to try to trade on Friday. I'm going to take those 2 days off. But tomorrow will be a full normal day, unless we get more of this. Uh, there you go. I really want to change my banner to bearish, but I don't dare try. Of course not, because that's when the buyers step in. And we're on our way back up. Yeah, I really need a I have no fucking clue banner. Uh, Rocket, we got some important numbers coming out on Wednesday. GDP, jobless. See if the market reacts to that. I don't know why they would. Doesn't seem like any fundamental information matters anymore. Bow Bow, this is probably people eager to take profits for the long weekend. You know, I really think it's the opposite of that. I think it's the fact that the large players that normally sort of control the market, I think they're gone. I think they've taken the week off. Um, that's the only thing that makes sense because we've had 3 freaking days like this in a row. Friday, yesterday, and today have all been doing this in a really bizarre, like, so this is something that's like interesting. You know, I'm working on a e-course right now on market profile. And so I found a bunch of statistics on initial balance, right? Initial balance is the A and B period combined, basically the time that I'm live streaming with you guys. And the amount of times over the last 770 sessions, okay, that the ES has both passed above a balance area, above an initial balance high and an initial balance low is less than 3% of the time. That is how rare it is. It has happened less than 3% of the time, and it happened both on Friday and yesterday. 2 days in a row. So there's something funky happening in the market here. And my best guess is the larger players have stepped aside, and when the grown-ups are away, the children will play. So it's retail, and they don't need much force to push the market around. And they are doing it. Yeah, we have had some good volume. Yesterday was pretty high volume, but it could be the computers, right? Trading against retail, the algorithms. But you're right. There's something to that. Let's jump over and take a look at the queue. What you doing? Okay, one time framing lower. Breaking that overnight low. That's bearish. Potential support on the base of those single prints, 16 to 62. But you got value lower. You got one time framing lower, at least within the initial balance. So it's at least a little bit bearish. Mediterra could see the 2150 area if we take out that overnight low. Yeah, I mean, I would say if we essentially what could happen here is we come down and we repair that poor low, then we come back up and we get resistance. If we get that, I'd definitely be looking at the very least to head down to 58. If those levels break, like you say, if that overnight low breaks, yeah, the poor low at 45.75 becomes the target. But you're saying 21. Yeah, there's some support in there. But that would be quite a move. We'll take it one step at a time. First step, preparing today is poor low. They're buying the 20 daily. Where's the 20 daily? That was the overnight that bought that. So we haven't gotten down there in the regular trading hours. Oh, you're saying they would buy it. All right. Well, here's the repair of that poor low. Internals are all trending down. And we are now back below that balancing area low, which is bearish. So next target for support, 46.58.75. And it looks like that 20 daily is sitting just below it at 46.56. We're now looking for resistance in this node of volume here. If they push back up into it, keeping an eye on those ticks. Do they continue to trend lower? M Maker, there was a poor low today because it stopped to a tick at a previous poor low. So that just meant it was short-term traders buying that exact reference. And short-term traders is weak hands. They take profits and then the market comes right back down to where they bought. Why is it doing that? Oh, I'm in caps lock. All right, there's the C period. There's the one time framing lower. Small set of single prints that need to backfill from the B period, but we would expect to find some resistance at the base of those single prints. Looks like we're going to test them before I can even type it. Okay. Just pulled the POC lower. That is bearish. So I'm a little shell-shocked, but this is from this morning and being wrong twice in a row, but this is bearish for a continuation lower. The next support is at 46.58.75, and then you got the 20 daily just below that. If both of those fail, you're looking for a bigger pullback down to the poor low that we left behind on the 12th at 46.45.75. So spike rules were bearish this morning. Value being lower was bearish this morning. One time framing lower is bearish this morning. And getting below that balance area low is bearish as well. But then, of course, they just say, fuck you, Charles, and get the ticks right back above the zero line. It's a beautiful thing. All right, well, today's not a great day to advertise the Brigade because I have given you no valuable information, but I will be talking the rest of the day in case anything insightful does happen. And you're welcome to join. There's a link in the description, and it only costs $10. If you're in the Brigade, I shall see you on the private stream. Have a great rest of your day, everyone, and we'll see you here tomorrow morning. Okay, bye.